Hello dear friends, this is the best prediction I have found about our near future. Opinion piece, Futurology, Promises of Heaven, Let the Sun Shine, Predictions of the Future, Visionaries and Creators. The process is underway. This birth is an unknown. The current madness will end. The transition lasts 12 years. There will be a generational change. Pessimism is waning. Let's start. Futurology is the discipline of predicting probable future events based on information from the present and the past. Futurologists include technologists, inventors, and scientific communicators who try to imagine possible future scenarios, called futurables, and determine their probability in order to plan the necessary actions to avoid or accelerate their occurrence. It is important to keep in mind that futurology is not an exact science and cannot foresee the future with absolute certainty. Instead, it is a valuable tool to explore possible future trends and scenarios and to help make informed decisions in the present. There may be technological and economic changes that alter the nature of work, which could have an impact on the distribution of wealth. For example, automation and artificial intelligence may have certain jobs redundant. On the other hand, the digital economy and entrepreneurship may provide opportunities for more people to create wealth. Abundance. Jared Rand believes that we will all be wealthy in more ways than just money. We will be wealthy in health thanks to technology. We will be wealthy in attitude, and we will be motivated to help others because it helps us. He says that people will not work out of obligation because they will be attracted to the things they like to do. The first step will be to eliminate all debts. In his view, the transition of this planet is almost complete, in the sense that enough people have learned about the existence of evil. The elimination of evil is in full swing, and we can feel it. The collective consciousness of this planet is saying enough is enough. The energy belt that we will pass through during the next 2000 years will saturate us in high frequencies of pure light energy. We are divine energy in this body. We are all saturated, even the sleeping ones, and it is not going to end anytime soon. With the elimination of poverty, people will go through an emotional transition. On the old earth, people are afraid to die, afraid to live, afraid to eat, afraid to starve, afraid of love, afraid of hate, afraid of wealth, afraid of poverty, afraid of everything. Transition. We are at the end of the line in dimensional transfer. These bodies can be held in the fifth dimension. That is when you will see a transition to a crystalline body. Everything is part of this transition, and some are missing the boat on some things because they have their eyes on money, on fitness, and all the technologies. But they are missing the boat because the most important thing is to make the transition to a higher frequency and keep at it. Transhumanism is a product of the old earth, and it can be twisted. Some people who receive wealth do not like it to reach everyone because they want to be special and superior to others. Once the tap is turned on, all debts and taxes will be gone, and people will become more informed. With Nova Helmet learning technology, we could take an 8th grader and download through the helmet massive amounts of information, and then make that person feel like they have the brightest mind on the planet and have that young person exploit them. Transfer. With all this transition, currency revaluation and global financial reset is a done deal with 209 countries because they all agree. People will switch to smaller banks in the QFS and will be able to handle their transactions in seconds. Ignore the central bank digital currency. A transfer of wealth to the people has not yet been made, but it is underway. It is not near or far, but in process. Nobody knows what anyone else is doing because there is so much compartmentalization. But the transition is here once and for all, and the bad guys have tried to steal it all but have never succeeded. Some people will go out and buy a yacht and a house with lots of acreage, but then they may find that they are not using the yacht very much and have created additional overhead. Some people will go crazy with money, but many people will do better. The collective consciousness of this planet created a shift from wealth to people. It will end the card madness, clear the mind, change the perspective, and educate children in a completely different way. The transition from the current generation to the next generation is going to be astronomical. It will last 12 years. There will be 2 years of installation and 10 years of progress, education and infrastructure. At the end of the 12 years, we will still have money, but nobody will need it. This is not smoke and mirrors, but fact. So pessimism is being reduced, but there are some who are becoming more and more pessimistic. Once food replicators spread, most trees can be planted to turn the earth into an orchard. Disputes. We've had valleys vying for control of planet Earth. Various factions wanted to have it their way, and they are like a bunch of kids arguing in the playground. Spoiled children complaining that they don't have control over every living creature on this planet. But that's total insanity. They would have hidden their actions if they had managed to start World War III, because they are so entangled in trouble that they are not going to get out of it. To get out of trouble, they created the unicoin, but it has no real value according to Jared Rand. So, we have a total financial transition for everybody, but they are not going to give a date and they are not going to give rates. The money thing is already here, but it yet means you don't have it in your pocket yet, but you will have it when the time comes. This birth is an unknown because it is not going to the way you have been told it is going to. Wealth is infinite on this planet, so everyone should be a millionaire, or should have been a millionaire a long time ago. The only obstacle is people's limited understanding. When the majority of people obtain that wealth, they will act responsibly to fairly redistribute those resources across the planet. The quantum system has already mirrored everyone's bank accounts, so it will not lose money. Banks dropping like flies, we don't need them. In quotes, I am not a financial advisor, says Jared Rand, but I didn't keep all my money in the bank. I would buy some gold and silver and keep the precious metal, not a gold and silver certificate in a warehouse. Let the sun shine. Let the good times come. Be kind, gentle, and humble to yourself and others at all times. Reset News. The monetary system is in transition. According to Mark Sida, it looks like Iraq is going to embrace the BRICS. According to John Juan Osabin, the intelligence agencies are at war with each other. According to the X-22 report, the good guys are preparing for the transformation of the system. The new system will be gold and silver. In the end, all secrets will be revealed. According to John O'Savin, constitutional money is gold and silver. Coins, not receipts for coin. Not receipts for gold and silver in a vaporous form. That is still the law of the land. No to cryptocurrency. No to certificates to give you gold and silver in some bank account somewhere. You have to be careful. This is a time when everything is about to come to a head. A humankind that sees trouble, a human being that sees trouble, gets out of the way. Agenda 2030, Sustainable Deception. Those who claim it is a roadmap to save the planet and achieve social improvements are met with skeptics who think there is a plan behind all this theater to further control the population. According to Bruce Great Call, which took place last Thursday night, Chinese elders Trump, Mnuchin, Shelton, 5 representatives from Iraq, and representatives from 29 different countries whose currency are increasing in value, gathered in Reno for the launch of the Global Financial Reset, which occurred 1 minute after midnight on Friday, April 14, when the codes were released. That same morning, bondholders and Native Americans received their first 1% payment. He adds that the Chinese elders released the codes so that bondholders in Tier 3 could receive payments, and that happened on Tuesday night. Economy. Stocks closed the week lower. Wall Street is nervous about a possible debt default. Michael Bloomberg is the keeper of the keys on Wall Street. The housing market is still in limbo. OPEC has not solved the oil price slump. Moody's downgrades 11 regional banks. U.S. bank deposits fall by $76.2 billion. Deposits are lending declined in the last week according to the Fed. Bank reserves could fall by $2.5 trillion as the Fed shrinks its balance sheet, says Fitch Ratings. Mike Maloney talks about upcoming bank failures due to unsecured deposits. When banks are in charge of regulating themselves, it is a disaster. Gregory Manarino says the zombie banking system gets $500 billion from the Fed. David Lynn says markets ignore the Fed's warning and there will be a rude awakening. Bond traders expect the lull to be broken by the Fed's doings. Markets are calm after the banking chaos, but credit tightening and falling profits could reignite volatility, says UBS. Vanguard bought big bank bonds on the cheap during the turmoil in March. Market stampede turns safer trades into dangerous bets. Heresy Financials asks, what happens to stocks when the dollar dies? Inflation cooling and recession looming, predict CEOs of the 5 biggest banks. Credit crunch could lead to imminent recession, says Citi's chief economist. Bank of America's Harnett sees a 20% dollar sell-off and turns bullish on gold. March was an explosive month for gold, and gold buying selling begins to take hold. Bank alert on falling commercial real estate valuations. Mohamed El-Erian warns of recession, financial accident, and the moment of truth for commercial real estate. Millennials sabotage their retirement with bad investment moves, study finds. More than half of managers have been forced to give Generation Z workers, due to their lack of tech skills, because they lack motivation and are easily offended. Solar storm. The storm is upon us and the best is yet to come. The Earth is in the impact zone. On 21st April, a large magnetic filament snaked across the southern hemisphere of the Sun, sweeping a cloud of debris in our direction. The impact should reach Earth in the early hours of 24th April. We were always told that there would be madness at the end. How close are we to the end? There are signs in the skies and events so out of the ordinary that the world picture is getting more confusing and crazier by the week. Father Malachi Martin claimed that Satan was enthroned in the Vatican sometime between 1959 and 1963, before the Second Vatican Council, which awakened the Church. According to Poet Talk, you lose your freedom when you no longer have control over yourself. When you no longer control where your mind goes, you are no longer in charge. Europe. The European Union launches itself into semiconductor production. Drought in Spain halves olive oil production. Amazon will earn $6.4 billion in Spain in 2022, a 6.6% increase. The Portbou fire between Spain and France has stabilized. France will maintain its electricity tariff shield until 2025. Turkey to launch a gas hub for Europe by 2024. Stoltenberg opens NATO's door to Ukraine. Poland proposes to the European Union to ban the import of various foodstuffs from Ukraine. Russia plans to increase its coal exports. The Moscow Stock Exchange Index rises above 2,600 points for the first time in a year. Australia finds a Japanese ship with more than 1,000 prisoners sunk by the US in World War II. USA. SpaceX Starship rocket explodes after a successful liftoff from Texas. US creates a task force to counter malicious use of artificial intelligence. Tech titans clash over artificial intelligence. Bill Gates and Elon Musk hold opposing views on the development of artificial intelligence. Elon Musk founds new company to challenge Microsoft's ChatGPT. Larry Elder announces 2024 presidential bid. The Republican radio host announced he will run for U.S. president. Special Forces arrest Space Force commander for treason, according to Michael Baxter of Real Raw News. Americas. A 4.2 magnitude earthquake strikes southern Mexico. Digital nomads in Mexico drive up prices and displace people. AMLO succeeds in selling Mexico's presidential plane to Tajikistan. Argentina seeks Chinese fighter jets. Argentina announces new access to sea through the Magdalena Channel. Argentina raises entry rates to contain the dollar. A study reveals that 70% of people under 30 would emigrate from Argentina. Chile aims to become the world's leading lithium producer. Chile presents a public-private model to share its lithium with the mining industry. The conquest of space is unsustainable without the union of countries, says Chile. Brazil and China are trying to break free from the hegemony of the dollar. Russia gets new buyers for its diesel and Brazil takes advantage of big discounts. Ash cloud from the Sangay volcano affects 3 provinces of Ecuador. 60% of the sanctions against Venezuela were imposed by the US. Scientists believe They have discovered how the Mayan calendar works. And that's all for today. Thanks a lot, dear friends.